Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of our podcast series from Culture Fit. In this episode, we are going to talk about how do we look for a job during Christmas in Australia. Just as a quick blurb, today we're going to go through what is a Christmas casual job, what kind of industries are available, what kind of jobs are available in the Australian market, how do we find these jobs, what do you look out for, and then finally, how do you actually keep the job potentially so that you have a part-time job for a longer term as you study in Australia. Let's just start with just defining what that Christmas job actually is. So normally something that you can work on during your summer break. It's a temporary role. So anyone with a student visa can work even more than the permitted 24 hours per week during that holiday season. And because it's during the Christmas season or holiday season, there's usually a lot of casual opportunities that are open more so than any time of the year. And then most importantly, there are usually better paid jobs during Christmas season because the demand for them is much higher. Now, on the flip side, with casual positions, you need to be flexible. The hours might differ from role to role, and you unfortunately don't get any sick leave or personal leave. So therefore, you get paid for as long as you work, but the hourly rates are usually pretty good. But that's, I guess that's a great thing for casual role, which is ideal for students, especially ones who are sticking around in summer. Great way to kind of earn a few bucks and build up a bank over Christmas. Anyway, look, without further ado, I want to introduce a guest so that you're not just listening to me for the whole time. We've got Shiva here, who's an international student who's been with us since early 2024. Shiva, can you give us a bit of an intro of who you are, your background?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Victor, and community team. So my name is Shiva Sharma, and I'm an international student from India. And I completed my bachelor's in aeronautical engineering back in year 2021. Following that, I have an experience of 3.5 years in the MNC company as well as along with my own business. And after that, I was thinking to start evolving my skills. So I was thinking to jump into some management roles, and then I found that Australia is one of the country that offers a lot more diversification, a lot more culture. So this was my preferred destination. And back in year 2024, January, I started my journey as an international student. And I started studying Master of Business Administration. And it has been now almost 2 years where I've been through a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities. But now I can say that I am a better person now. Yeah, so that's about me.
And you're almost at the end of your degree, I heard.
I'm also almost at the end of my degree, so I would be graduating this December.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, so a lot more new opportunities.
Well, fingers
coming
crossed, everything's going to go. Yes. But something that, we had a short chat before this recording. Something that started with me was that you were actually part of the airport welcome desk program when you first landed. Give me a bit of an idea of what made you join, how long ago was it?
So talking about my journey when I was back in India, so I wasn't kind of an introvert person. So, but when I landed over here, so I found it was a very overwhelming experience for me. So because different people from different cultures, different religions, but when I landed over here, so I found that I have to take a step forward to overcome that particular challenge, and I have to speak out to the people in order to gain the confidence to tackle the job market or to study in the university, because I'm doing a master level program, and it is a definite requirement that I have to speak up to gain the most out of it. So when I landed over here, I saw that Australia has got a lot of volunteering opportunities, social impact opportunities, giving back to the community. And the first opportunity that I saw was from community as well. So I decided that yes, this is the first opportunity that I would go for it. And being an international student and helping the other international students made me proud. Made me proud as well as my family proud. And yes, it was a very enriching experience because I get to know a lot of new people, new students from different cultures and religions, and this is how we make the change and share the value amongst each of us.
Yeah, thank you. And look, we're glad that we're at that initial part, that small part of your journey here.
Right.
We're here to learn about your kind of part-time experiences, part-time job experience as well. So after the welcome desk, maybe give me a bullet point of where have you worked, and then we can go into it a bit deeper. So what was your first job?
So my first job was as a casual team member when I started working as a David Jones. It was a warehouse. It's located in Sydney itself. Yeah. And then currently I'm working over here. So it has been like around 1.5 years when I'm working. So being committed, being reliable, makes me, be in that particular opportunity till date. And my second opportunity was for a very short time because when I had the full-time opportunity work rights during the university breaks, so I also went for working as a sales assistant and customer experience specialist at Kmart. So these were the two major roles that I used to work on. But I definitely say that I have got a lot of experience out of those two jobs.
Wow. And what I found interesting is obviously you've done a bit of work, between your bachelor's and your master's.
Right.
And you were telling me that warehousing is somewhat related to actually your career or
Right.
potential career in logistics and also in supply chain and operations. So just because it's a part-time job and you want a bit of money doesn't mean you can't actually find a relatable job that can kind of help you further your career at the same time. One question I did have is, how did you find that role? Like, where did you go? Did you go online? Did you knock on doors? What?
So when I was back in India, so because I had a lot of stories that you start applying online, you put your resumes onto the social platforms, and like there are like a lot of ambassadors speaking that you just start putting on the LinkedIn, Seek, Indeed, Jura, and you would land up into a job. But the things that you see or you just hear online wouldn't work if when you land physically in Australia. So that was a little bit like literally a great challenge for me. When I landed over here, I found out that only putting up your resumes, your profile onto that particular online platforms won't do the justice. You actually have to step out. So this is my story. You actually have to step out, start visiting the stores, talking to the managers. So that was I was saying that you have to, take a step forward. You have to speak to them, share your stories, and share your abilities that how you are different from others. So this would make a very, very great, makes a very great difference. And as I told you that volunteering has been, a top-notch and a great experience for me every time. And in one of the volunteering activities, I had a chance to interact with one of the managers from David Jones. I didn't knew that he was a manager at David Jones, but we then started having a very casual interaction. And then he later told that yes, I'm looking for some students that who are active participants and who are committed. And then we had a chat for like about 1.5 hours, and he was happy to refer me into this particular warehouse. And till date, I'm working with David Jones. I'm really happy that I did something that was on the right track and creating value for myself and for the Australian community.
Yeah, and look, if you were to tell me that 2 years ago you were an introvert, that you didn't want to interact with people, that you're not confident, I wouldn't have even thought about it. So clearly the proactive action that you've taken to get a customer service role at a retail shop has its benefits, really.
Right.
And you mentioned that your parents were surprised as well. How was that?
Yeah, so like because now it has been almost 1.5 years that I've been staying in Australia. So this January itself, my father visited Australia, and he was like completely shocked seeing me, because the kind of a person I was back like 3 years back when I was in India. I did like to go outside the home, sit at just one corner, don't interact with anyone. But coming over here, he saw me that I don't even, step into my home for like 10 to 15 minutes. So it's like any opportunity, and then I'll just go outside, grab that opportunity without having any expectations. Because ultimately, what I have observed over here is that any opportunity that you are going to, experience, you will get some learning out of it. And that learning has made me a better person now, both personally and professionally. So that's a very great thing for me that I will cherish forever.
Thanks for sharing, Shiva. Right. Those sounds like fantastic opportunities. So, and I think if our audience goes online, I'm sure you read hundreds of stories of how easy it is to find a job. What I'm interested in is, although that volunteering, finding a manager at DJs is fantastic, and I hope everyone gets the same thing. I also want to hear how challenging it could have been.
Yeah.
How did you get a job? How many times did you have to apply? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, so like you're on the right track. So not everything goes as planned. So when I landed over here, when I saw the challenges, like there is a lot of opportunity, but how you position yourself makes a big difference. So when I landed back in year 2024 in January, I started applying for online jobs. I started visiting the stores, but the first thing that I was getting was rejection. So almost I visited 100, 150 to 200 stores, and approximately 90% of the managers or the supervisors were saying that we are not currently hiring the international students because of their working rights restrictions, or might be some of the students just change their mind at the very last moment, and it's very difficult for the organization to handle that last minute changes, because ultimately you are working for an organization and they have the responsibility to to make the profits coming on. And if I am not able to give my shift preferences at the very last moment, if I have changed my mind at the very last moment, so it makes difficult for the management to jump between all those things. So what I have learned coming over here, that rejection is a part that every student must, goes through. And this is very important, because if you don't, go through the challenge of rejection, you can't grab the opportunity what's coming onto next. Because I have learned that yes, rejections were there, but how those rejections I can convert as an opportunity, as a particular challenge, and how I can improvise my skills, abilities. How can I showcase to the managers that I am a different person, like I have got some different skills and capabilities that sets me apart from the crowd. So that was the thing. But yes, rejection is very, very important, and not everything is easy, as you see on the social media, as you see on the pictures. It's like about sharing the experiences. You learn something from me, I learn something from you, and that's how we be a better person.
Yeah. Look, I always say the first job is always the hardest, and that includes part-time jobs as well, right? Once you have the first part-time job, the second, third kind of builds on the references and the experience you've got. Just as some tips, if you're wondering about kind of other practical skills that you can get in order to make your job hunting easier, first off, you've got the retail experience, but half the time people are actually asking for point of sales, or knowing how to use those systems to kind of make sales or make transactions. Inventory or stock take experience is really crucial for warehousing. Once you've done it once, people are like, oh, you know what you're doing, you got the attention to detail, you won't find this boring, that's great. There's also another thing which I think a lot of students might kind of undervalue themselves, which is your ability to use social media, to use online apps, could be quite sought after, especially for small to medium-sized businesses or local businesses, where the owner might not know how to use DoorDash or Uber Eats, don't know how to set up the social media, don't know how to respond to Google reviews, which could make or break a business. And if you're interested in that kind of retail hospitality role, then those skills are definitely apply. And then last thing is barista skills. So there are so many jobs out there for cafes. Might not be there all the time, but is a very quick way for you to get into the door in terms of getting a part-time role. Just to recap, as an employer, there's also 3 things we'll look at. I mean, what I'm hearing is reliability, work ethics, and have a can-do attitude. So it's a very kind of Aussie terms, which means whatever's needed by the business or your manager, you say, yep, I can do it, I'm going to give it a try, and that makes a huge difference for small businesses who are looking for someone who's from casual and then go, actually, I can see something there in Shiva, let's have him on board more regularly because I can depend on him. So on that note, I want to thank Shiva for being part of our podcast today. If any of you have any questions about employment laws, opportunities, where to come from, we've actually got a partnership with an organization called Justice Connect that deals with a lot of kind of legal advice on the employment side. The landscape can be a bit tricky, but if you do have any questions, there's a free service provided by the New South Wales government. And just to plug ourselves, look, please, I hope that this podcast was useful. Share it around to your friends who are also struggling or thinking about getting a part-time job. This could be a great start. We're also running a new program called Employment Heroes, and we're going to be running some pilot opportunities over the Christmas period to help international students who are trying to find their first part-time job. So if you're interested, hit me up, send us an email, express your interest, and then we'll see what we can do over this Christmas period. But thank you for being with us today. I hope that was useful. And again, thank you, Shiva, for being part of our podcast.
Thank you so much, Victor. And all the best, everyone who are our viewers. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.